I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. And we are back live for another edition of Heavy Muscle Radio on this Sunday night. Tomorrow is 9/11, and I'm joined by Chris, the technician Aceto. As always, Chris, we have, what is the anniversary? How many years has it been since the World Trade Center came down?
2001, so 11, 22?
Yeah, 23, 22 years. Wow,
23
crazy.
years.
Nuts. I remember. Do you remember where you were when that happened?
Oh gosh, I remember exactly. It was, I know exactly what I did that day. Which amazing, Dave, is that it just two things. Is it was a crystal clear day in Old Orchard Beach, and I just remember. And I'm not one of these people say, "God, what a beautiful day." You know, I just remember the day being like not a cloud in the sky, and then going to the post office. And my cousin who works at the post office saying something like a plane hit the World Trade Center. I was like, what are you talking about? You know, and then coming home and just seeing it all.
Yeah. I was actually sleeping, and one of my friends was working on my dad's. I was still living at my dad's house. And one of my friends was, come to think of it, I was in my dad's house because my ex-wife and I had broken up, and I had to move back to my dad's house for like about 6 months before I got all the living arrangements straightened out. And I was in my old bedroom, with the Charlie's Angels posters on the wall. And my friend comes knocking on the door. I'm like, John, what are you waking me up for? It was probably, I don't even know what time it was. It was probably like 9:30, something like that. And he's like,
9:14.
Yeah, he was working downstairs on my dad's house. I don't know what he was doing, like painting or something like that. And he's like, "You're not going to believe this." And I'm like, I thought he was bullshitting me just because he wanted to wake me up or something like that. And I'll never forget it. It's crazy. Matter of fact, I remember when the Space Shuttle Challenger crashed. What was that? 86.
Yeah, I know where I was in it too. That was Springfield College. I remember walking home and someone said the space shuttle like exploded. I'm like, wait, right. It's indestructible, right? It's like the Titanic.
Right. I think this was the year before I went to college. So you must have you went to college a year before I did. I was in a friend of ours' house, so we had like a sleepover or something like that. And he came running into the room. I think I was with some girl or something like that. He was all startled. The guy, like, he's like, well, I said, there better be a good reason you're waking me up right now.
Yeah.
He's like, the shuttle crashed. I said, holy.
The shuttle blew up twice, right? Once.
No, I think it was
the other time, wasn't it? Was coming back.
No, there was only one shuttle disaster that I think, right?
No, there were two. That's
right. The other one, right. You're right. You're right.
And now we have Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. They regularly fly into or up near space.
Well, they don't have to even send people up there anymore, right? They just send the satellites up there alone.
Yeah. Well, now we have space tourism.
That's right. Right. So we had a good show this past weekend. I'm pretty excited. We kind of predicted this was going to happen. The last couple shows that were qualifiers for the 2023 Olympia would be stacked with better competitors, and we got some good battles. We had Andrew and Labrada a few weeks ago. Now we have Regan and Nathan Deasha. Unfortunately, Good Vito wasn't there. He obviously couldn't get a visa. We talked about that last week, and he's going to be doing the Legion Sports Fest. But
no, I think
Nathan and Regan put on a great show for that Italian crowd.
Yeah, it was. It was. I think people predicted, or expected. I think that was the expectation that it would come down to Regan and Nathan. But to be perfectly honest, I think people's expectation was that Regan was going to be untouchable.
Yeah. Now, why do you say that?
Because he was releasing, photos every single day for like 4 weeks.
Right.
And he looked like he was just, unbeatable coming into the show.
Right. Yeah. And do you think that helped or hindered him?
I always think it hinders, because I think there's no benefit whatsoever of putting photos of the way you look running into a show, because if you look so good, like you're unbeatable, it sets a high bar. And when you show up, and you don't look like the photos running into the show, then I think that even if, as a judge, you're looking at it and say, well, where's the unbeatableness that we just saw or were expecting? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. I mean, but sometimes it also.
I know it does, Dave. I just wanted to say it rhetorically.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying sometimes it actually works to help you, because it makes sure that the judges are almost like looking to put you in that first spot. But like you said, if the expectations are super high and then you don't look as good as the expectations, then obviously that's a letdown. And so they're judging you against the expectations sometimes. Well, I think that Regan made a lot of improvements from last year, but he doesn't look, quite as insane as the pictures that we saw, on his Instagram leading up to the show. But having said that, if Nathan wasn't there, he would have won the show. So,
sure.
Although, Roman Fritz, who was third, looked really good, and matched up pretty well with those guys as well. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's go over the Nathan Regan battle here. I'll go pose by pose, at least the ones I have. You tell me what you think. Front double bicep.
Nathan.
Yeah, but he's got great arms, Nathan.
Yeah, great arms.
Great chest, too.
Yeah, arms and pecs.
Who's got better legs, do you think?
Technically, Regan, I think, and from the front, maybe. But it doesn't matter, because they're not his strength and they're not a strength of Nathan. So it's almost like, they're equally not their best body parts. So because they're both equally not the best body parts, you just go to the front, the torso.
Yeah. Front lat spread.
Regan's wider. I think Nathan's super full pecs save him here, and I think Nathan gets the edge here as well.
And Nathan's got the flary lats too, that really pop.
Yeah, Nathan is one of the few people who he can get away with having a good lat spread, even though he's got high lats, because he's got the full pecs. If you have high lats but you don't have full pecs, you're doomed.
I kind of, who comes to mind? Derek Whitsett. I know we mentioned that name a lot, but he had that same big full pecs and the big lats, but they were kind of high attachments as well. Let's go to the next one. Side chest. This is all Nathan.
Glasses. Right? I don't want to side chest Nathan because of the pecs.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole arm structure too. He's got really good arms.
Yeah, he's got good arms. Good.
And look at his side. His side leg is actually better than Regan's.
Yeah, I know. He's got good legs from the side. A lot of people with not a lot of people, but people who don't have great quads, like Eduardo Correa didn't have great quads, but the leg from the side looked like a horse.
Yeah.
And it's funny that Nathan doesn't have like great quads, but from the side, his legs, really impressive.
Yeah, he's got a good ball string drop. Let's go to the next pose. There's side tricep.
You got the side chest up there. Side tricep. I'd go with Nathan.
And what do you? Yeah, I like the fact that he's got really good arms. I think Regan.
Well, he's got good arms. He's got a big delt, and the pecs factor in again, and of course the leg from the side.
Yeah.
And this is, Regan usually hits it like Flex Lewis, so maybe they're forcing that.
Yeah, they said they don't want to see these guys hitting the front version of the side tricep, which was made famous really by Sean Roden more than anyone.
Yeah.
All right. Ab thigh.
I think I got Regan here.
Okay.
It's close,
It looks like Regan's got the Milos step up on Nathan thing. I think he's a little ahead of Nathan on the stage.
Yeah, Nathan looks like he's at the 40-yard line, and Regan looks like he's at the 50.
What is the side? Try again. Hold on. Back double bicep.
What do you think?
You know, I when I evaluated the show on my little wrap up, I did. For me, I mean, Nathan's glutes and hamstrings. I mean, both of them have really good conditioning, but I think Nathan's got better looking glutes, like just better insertions and stuff like that. And I think his back is gnarly enough, you know, with knotty enough to like impress me enough to take this shot. Although I think Regan looks good in this shot. I just like, I don't know, for some reason my eyes go to
I know
Nathan.
100% what you mean. That's why I asked you and didn't say who I thought. Though I think after looking at this, I would go with Regan here.
Oh, you would go with Regan, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I take Nathan on this one, but it's a toss up. Lat spread.
You know, this is weird because I would definitely say Regan, but you know, and Nathan looks a little slender here, and it's a toss up because he's got a really good like waspy waist on this shot. Nathan does.
Yeah. I actually like Regan on this shot only because I think he's got really good lower back thickness, and I think he's wider. And I can justify giving him this shot.
Yeah.
The back double, something just
agree.
I mean,
I can see Regan taking both back shots, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's not like it's a blowout.
Most muscular.
Hard to tell from that shot because
it's awkward. Yeah, Nathan's in.
I would say Regan on that because he looks wide, and that crab most muscular makes Nathan look narrow.
Yeah. Let's see what else I got here. They're both.
But this one, Nathan, because of the pecs.
Yeah, the pecs and arms are just really good on this. Look, Regan really improved, and we got to give him props. I don't think it certainly wasn't a blowout in my mind. I haven't seen the scorecard yet, so I don't know. I've been looking for it. I don't think they posted it yet, but it's got to be close. I mean, now it might have been unanimous, Nathan just by a point, or something like that in each judge's mind. Sometimes that happens too. But all they have up is the Sasquatch Pro scorecards. I love that. Don't you love the name, the Sasquatch Pro?
It's funny. I went to NPC News and I saw that, and I was like, "What is that?"
Sasquatch Pro. We should probably pull it up. Just who did the Sasquatch Pro? I think it was a men's physique show only. No, they had figure, men's physique, and bikini. All right. Who won? Wendy Fortino won figure. Edwin Palmera won men's physique. All right. Well, getting back to the show we just saw. So we went pose by pose, and you can kind of see that it was not a blowout. Nathan had a little more wow. Both guys were really well conditioned. I actually think this might be the best that both of them ever looked. What do you think about that statement?
Regan, yes. And Nathan, it was a great look for Nathan, but I think I've seen him like bigger, but maybe not quite as conditioned. And this was a good look for him. It might not be his biggest, but it was a good package. You know what I mean? Because he had, I think, more polish than he's had in the past. A lot of times, so I think when he's been big, he's been in good condition, but just not like quote conditioned enough. You want to just see him better.
This is here's Regan's posing routine, just so we can get a good idea of how he looked. What if you're looking at his physique critically? What does he need to improve now? Like, what do you want to see get better on Regan?
Well, I think the only thing that needs to improve really is size because of the frame.
Right. Someone was telling me, I thought he was over 6 foot. Someone was telling me he's not over 6 feet. What is his height? You worked with him.
I think he's just shy of 5'11", 5'10 and a half.
Oh, really? Okay. He looks very tall on stage. He's a lot taller than me.
He looks very tall.
I assumed he was well over 6 feet, because of that.
It's funny, he can't hit crab most muscular. Some people can't. You know what I mean? They don't look good. He looks good though in the way he hits it.
Yeah, I don't know what he weighed here, but he looks like he's gained about 20 pounds since last year. since last year. He really put a lot of muscle on. He never was a thick, densely thick-looking guy. Now he's got almost like a Steve Kuklo, thickness to him.
Yeah.
That he never had before. Did it? This is a tough question. Does his shape look better with all this muscle on, or worse?
His shape looks better.
Okay.
It looks better. I just paused only because I was just trying to think of like different looks, because some people's shape when they get bigger, you're like, oh, he's definitely a better bodybuilder, which he is, or he's definitely better here, which he is. But you can think back to like when some bodybuilders were smaller, and Ronnie Coleman,
right?
You know what I mean? And you say like, oh, that shape was phenomenal that year,
right?
I mean, I'm of the camp, and it's just a fact that Coleman was better at 98 in 98 when he was 248 or 250 or whatever than when he was supposedly 390.
Yeah, he's still filling out his physique though. So
you know what I mean? Bigger is better, but it's not always better when
Let's take a look at Nathan.
I have like 9 pairs of glasses. I can't see through any of them.
Nathan, and we were talking about this off camera. Nathan is like Victor Martinez. The guy is so talented. He's a genetic freak for sure. He's had so many terrible things happen to him. Passports he couldn't get, visas to travel. His gym, he was arrested. You remember they were trying to shut him down because he was keeping the gym open during COVID. I mean, he had so many terrible. The guy's the nicest guy. So many terrible things happened to him. Then he got involved with some anabolic stuff earlier on. So I mean, just the fact that he's still going and he's here and he still looks this good and he's going back to the Olympia is a testament to how determined this guy is. And Victor went through the same stuff, if you remember. And Nathan had a muscle tear. Didn't he tear his bicep or something like that?
Yeah, supposedly. You can't see it there.
I can't tell either. Yeah, but.
No, but
so I mean, this guy has been through the ringer. I mean, he hasn't just had a straight journey. It's incredible that he's looking this good.
Yeah, I think here in the video you could see that he's has more polish than he's had in previous.
Remember last year he didn't go to the Olympia. He decided to do he couldn't do 2 shows. He couldn't get a visa. I don't even remember what the problem was, but he could not go to the Olympia, and he competed at the Arnold UK or something like that instead.
Well, if you remember. Funny, if you remember, Regan beat him in Romania.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. And you know what the funny thing is? He still is not really. I think he can have a lot more muscle on that body. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm looking. I think he could be a lot bigger. Back wise and all. He's just catching up still.
Yeah.
From where he was.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. In other words, he's got time between now and the Olympia to make some improvements.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much he's going to make by the Olympia, but I definitely think that we're going to see, if he can continue on this road, next year, I think we're going to see a really, really good Nathan Deasha next year, assuming nothing, he doesn't have any injuries and everything goes as planned.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of setbacks, and when I like to see guys, come out of something like this and prove, hey, you know what? A lot of other guys might have quit. I'm not quitting. I came back. I'm here to stay, and see what he can do. How do you think he fits into the Olympia picture?
He is. Let's see. He's obviously not a first call out guy this year.
Yeah.
Second call out. Based on his
he's
condition.
A top 10 guy, right?
And polish and lack of weaknesses. I mean, because he doesn't really have any shots where you say, well, that's not a good shot for him.
Right. He's a top 10 guy for sure.
Yeah, I would say so.
Let's take a look at third place, Roman Fritz. As you know, I've known Roman since he's 19 years old. Here's a guy who, and we've talked about this also before, when he won his pro show a couple weeks ago. He had he had 1 hip replacement, but he had it done twice because he had an infection in it. And they told him, oh, you're never going to be able to lift heavy again. This guy squats more now than he did prior to the surgery. And his legs actually look better now than they did prior to the surgery. You would never know that he had a hip replacement. And you couldn't even, I guarantee if I asked you, you probably couldn't tell me which leg he had done,
No, his legs haven't gotten. His legs are a lot bigger than they've been.
Yeah, yeah. He's
Everything's bigger. His pecs are bigger. Shoulders
yeah.
bigger.
If he brings his back up, I mean, he arguably might have better legs than the top two guys, but he just needs a little more back, I think.
Yeah, he needs more right there, back thickness, trap.
Density, yeah, density.
Mid back, low back.
But he's improved a bit. I mean, he was so depressed at one point, Chris, that he never left his house because he was in so much pain. He would just basically hang out on the couch all day, and he would go downstairs. He had a gym in his house, and he would train, and then he would go back and lay on the couch again because he was in that much pain, from the hip. And he thought that if he got his hip replaced, that he wouldn't be able to bodybuild anymore. Finally, he just said, "Screw it, I can't take the pain anymore," and he did it. And obviously, the rest is history. He's looking great. He's going to the Olympia from his win earlier. And this is it was nice that he did the show because he's like, screw it, I'm in shape already. Might as well jump in this thing. Third place, got a nice paycheck, and we'll see him in Florida at the Olympia, which is going to be great. Talk to me about Blessing. What's going on with him? I mean, I was surprised to see him in this lineup. Were you?
No, I knew he was doing the show.
No, I mean, I was just surprised that he did the show. Is what I'm saying, because I know he had to work. He was supposedly working on those legs.
Yeah. What do I think here? He's over dieted.
Is it, or is his legs just not big enough?
No.
I mean, because his conditioning is really good.
So you can, that's my answer. He's over dieted.
All right.
Because I know.
You think he's too sucked out, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, though. I mean, I've over-dieted people, right? I mean, he wants to redeem himself, and you just get caught up in, redemption, or you get caught up in trying to bring a condition that you've not yet reached before. And what happens is your body parts that you worked hardest for fade. And that's why his legs look thinner here. I mean, I think at some point, probably, 3 weeks out, I think when he looks at pictures, say, they were good enough here.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone wrote in the comments, Roman had both hips replaced. I don't think he had both hips replaced, guys. I think he had, from what he told me, he had one replaced, and then he got an infection in that one. He had to have it done again. So he had the same one done twice. I think that Blessing should have just taken off the rest of the year. I really think that he's got to go back and build some more leg mass. He's got a beautiful upper body. He knows how to get in shape. This is obviously, he's done it when he won the New York Pro. He did it here. He's in shape. His legs are just too small. In a lineup where it's weaker, he'll beat guys, but he's not going to beat guys in this lineup because these guys have pretty good legs. I mean, Roman beat him because Roman's got better legs than him, and obviously Regan and Nathan just have better physiques than him, overall. I think it's a mistake for him to compete at this point. And I don't know if he has a contractual, type of situation with Muscle Tech where he has to compete or not. But I imagine that he would probably be better off taking off. I would take off if I were him the whole year and then try to compete again like this time next year. He should be able to put some size on, like, unless he's got an injury that just is not going to allow him to train the way he needs to. I think he has. It doesn't even a knee problem or something like that.
I don't know, but it's. I mean, at this point, you have to take the year off. There's no more shows, right?
Well, I say the year off. I'm talking about. I don't want to. He shouldn't be competing in March, or April. He should be waiting. The whole time, to really give himself enough time to put the size on.
Time to come
He's young enough. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to press. Push it. He's not 45 years old. Yeah. He's not. The clock is not ticking against him. Just take the time, put the size on, and come back and be dominant. He's got a great personality. He's got good stage presence. There's not a single promoter that doesn't want him in their show, but he's got to come in here at his best if he wants to be winning shows like this, of this caliber at least.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good point. I'm sure it's got to be frustrating for him because I think that
he wants to compete. I don't blame him.
Frustrating because he was, he won 2 shows.
Right. But who did he beat in those shows? You were the first person to pretty much point that out.
I did say that, but I think that those were very good looks for him. He beat Charles Griffin, who's no slouch.
True.
Charles Griffin would have been no lower than 3rd here for sure.
True.
So, and he beat Charles Griffin at his best. So that my point is, he's not going forward. To be frank.
Yeah, but he barely got past. I mean, Griffin could have beat him. I mean, I don't think anyone would have complained.
Yeah, no,
Griffin would have won. I'm sure. I know Griffin thinks he should have won that show.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Yang Lang from China, and he's kind of like the surprise in this lineup here. Pull up his video. Give me your assessment of him. Another guy with great legs too in this lineup.
Yeah, outstanding legs.
I mean, Blessing picked the wrong lineup of guys to go against with legs. Holy mackerel!
Yeah. Great legs, great everything, great delts, good pecs.
Is he a little pinched in the clavicles?
That's why he was in the place that he was in, because you're up against the widest guy on stage is Regan, second widest guy is Blessing, and then two, like you can see here, is he needs more back thickness. That's why he didn't hit that back shot.
yeah, exactly. And I think I've seen him a little tighter than this too.
Yeah, he's been tighter, I think. This is a great shot right there. No, it's only allowed in your posing routine, not in the.
He's a very good poser, is what he is. He knows how to present his physique,
No, he's very impressive.
Yeah. No, yeah, I like his physique a lot.
I guess he's got to be considered China's best bodybuilder.
Yeah, and the stereotype of Asians having big calves is absolutely confirmed with this guy. That's for sure.
Jimmy the Bull said he's good in math.
But he's not good at driving, Jimmy said.
Oh, is that what Jimmy said? Okay.
Jimmy says, Asian people can't drive.
I thought he said it was Asian woman.
No, he says all Asian people can't drive. According to Jimmy, he says that. But they are good at math and stuff like that. You know what? He's got to be the best guy out of China, right? I mean, in the open class at least. I don't even know are there any other guys from China in the open class?
No, they get the classic guy branch.
Who's the guy that Milos used to help?
I don't know if he's from China or no, that's not him. The guy with the big frame. Yeah, he's had a couple good placings and
he's good showings. I think he's Chinese also.
Yeah, a couple bad showings.
But he's a big.
I wouldn't know how to pronounce the name, Dave. So
yeah, well,
I'll leave the Chinese pronunciations to Trump.
Oh yeah. I want to just say that I have to commend Regan for going out to Italy and competing, because you know what? He was the only American. I think he was the only American guy.
Canadian.
Blessing went to.
He's Canadian, and Blessing.
But he lives. Yeah, but he's always in the United States. He's the same thing. A lot of guys. Let's put it this way: the only North American. But although Blessing did go over there too, a lot of guys won't go over to another country and compete anymore. And I don't know why, to be honest with you. It's a great experience, especially how many times you get to go to Italy? I mean, it's fun. Yeah, the beginning part sucks because you got to bring all your food and you got to pack all your shit. But once you're there and you compete, you stay an extra day or two and you enjoy yourself there, and you make connections with people that you don't see normally, because these European promoters and European bodybuilders it's like a whole new crowd of people that you're not going to run into normally at these shows. And so good job for Regan, and good job for Blessing to head over there. I'd like to see more guys doing that. Now,
Dave, listen, if you can get out of your non-existent basement next year, maybe you and I can go from my boat. We'll drive over there.
I thought I'm not allowed to talk about your hypothetical boat.
I know. But there's nothing else.
Chris almost pulled the trigger on a boat, which I would have been on for sure if he would have had to hire a captain though, because it's a very big boat. We'll talk about that another time.
As long as I can use it more than you used your jet skis, Dave, which was never.
Well, no, I did use my jet skis. I didn't when I had a boat. I used a little bit, but not as much as I should have. But
how often did you use a jet ski? I'll
tell you what's good about the jet skis. The jet skis were good because you could literally, they were on like a little dock. You could literally just get on them, push yourself into the water, putt around for like 10 minutes and come back ride it back onto the ramp, and you're done. And you hose. I mean, you don't even have to hose it down really. Boat, you know what happens when you take a boat out. When you come back, the maintenance, you got to spray it down, and you got to clean it. You got to so much you got to do with this thing, and there's always something wrong with it when you get it back, right?
Yeah,
you bent the props, you hit the bottom, you scratch the side.
No, Dave, a light switch goes out. A light switch goes out, and they said you have to call a boat electrician.
Yeah.
And you say, how much is a boat electrician? Like, just like an electrician, like $95 an hour. They're like, no, it's like $400.
I had the boat in my backyard, obviously, which is a lot, better than having to go to a marina. So if something went wrong, the guy in the corner, the marina corner, I would just drive it over there, or he'd come pick it up for me. I mean, that's how easy it was. But every bill was like $500, $600. It was never like
the boat stands for break out another 1,000.
That's right. And now I can't even imagine nowadays. You know what that boat that you showed me the picture of? You know what it would have cost you to fill that thing up with gas?
You want to know how much it costs?
Yeah. How many gallons is the tank? 6,000 gallons.
1,600 times.
What's the price of gas on the water now? $6.
$6.75. So it's 10,800 to fill it.
Just to take it out for the day. Oh my God. Oh.
That's a lot of fiberglass, dude. I'd have to say.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot of iPhones you could have bought over the years, Chris. Now I know why you don't upgrade your phone ever. Oh my God. Boats are crazy. Did you see that there was a guy who was a former, I think he was was he an Apple CEO? He was like the CEO of Apple or Amazon. He was going to buy one of these, they confiscated all those Russian billionaires' boats.
$67.5 million, yes.
Yeah, well, he backed out because there was too many lawsuits against him. But against the boat.
Yeah.
Boat was insane.
These boats, all the boats that were seized from the Russian oligarchs.
Yeah.
They don't mothball them. They still have to you have to keep the electric on.
Oh, really?
Because you have to keep the AC running, or they'll just be worthless, because of the mold.
Oh.
And then they have to keep those engines running 24/7, the diesel engines. So
they have to run constantly.
It costs them $100,000 a month just to keep the lights and the diesel going.
Holy shit! So all the countries that have seized these boats, they have to take care of them because they don't want this. So now they're trying to auction them off.
Yeah, with entangling lawsuits forever.
Oh my God!
It was Steve Schmidt. No,
yes,
Schmidt,
yeah,
whatever.
Right? Is that right?
Yeah,
I'm trying to look it up.
That boat probably costs $100,000 to fill.
Oh, at least. Yeah, but with those boats are so big, you definitely need a captain for those. I was telling Chris you need a captain for the boat you wanted to buy. Oh my God! Hold on, here it is. Here's the story. $1 million yacht is seized. Oh, that's the one that was seized. Look at this picture, Chris. Look at this. Look at his boat. The boat you sent me was pretty close to this one. Look, it looks like an apartment building.
Yeah, it does.
Can you imagine getting on that boat? Holy shit!
Do you think the guy conjures up driving it himself?
Yeah, I don't think so. Chris wanted to buy this boat. There's no way in humanity that he could have possibly piloted this boat himself.
That's why I said, Dave, you come with me.
Yeah, we would be like Rodney Dangerfield and his sidekick on the boat and piloting this boat. We would be lost at sea, probably. This thing. But all right, let me think.
I don't like to drive things with no brakes. That's what's dangerous.
Yeah. Well, it's got how many engines those boats? You can make them spin probably.
Yeah, too. Well, it's got bow thrusters too, so you can get to the dock, get in and out.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. They do have the bigger boats have those. That's crazy. All right, what did you see that Lisa Lyon died?
I did see that.
Did you know? I wanted to ask you. Did you know her?
No, I did not know her.
Oh, she was even before your time.
Yeah,
and you started young.
She was 70. She died of what, breast cancer?
No, I think originally they reported it as pancreatic cancer, but it was stomach. I think it was stomach cancer that killed her. Actually,
Was she first Miss Olympia?
no, I don't think she was never Miss Olympia, but she was very popular. She was in movies and stuff like that. She actually did a Playboy spread too.
Yeah, she was very popular. She was like Corey before Corey.
Yeah, yeah, she was like pre-Corey.
Yeah, she was like.
She was 120 pounds. That's funny. 1982. 82 was like the high. That's when the women's bodybuilding was in its heyday. It was just starting basically.
Dave, I saw something the other day. It was the results of the. Oh, I know. Who's the Better Bodies gym owner?
Brian Moss.
I've never been to Brian Moss's page, and I went to Brian Moss's page, and he had like the great photographer, super great guy,
one of the best, yeah.
And he had a photo on Instagram of one of the early years Corey won the Miss Olympia. Early, we're talking.
She looked like Corey, right?
Well, Corey won 15 grand. I guarantee Nathan didn't win 15 grand.
No.
And we're talking, 30 something years ago, easy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. It's sad that, but it makes sense if you think about it, because, back then it was just women's bodybuilding and men's bodybuilding. And there was a lot of like it was almost like a celebrity cool thing to do was go watch women's bodybuilding events. So there were sponsors. They were getting real sponsors who put up money for it. Yeah. No one knew about steroids. Even the marketing companies didn't know about steroids. They didn't understand that, guys, because no one talked about steroids. It wasn't like, it was like an unspoken thing. So they actually thought it was a legitimate, hey, these people train at the gym and they look great, and this is the new craze. It's like black banana, and it's the new craze, bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And Joe Weider was selling a ton of exercise equipment and nutritional supplements, and they got people to put money up for these events. And it's all about it's not that the promoters are cheap. It's just that they can't get the advertising to justify giving away a ton of money. That's why I said they should go to the Middle East, because in the Middle East, you heard my interview with Kamal. Qatar was paying him like 150 grand a year just to win the world championships. And they gave him a house, they gave him health insurance, they paid for his food, they paid for his freaking drugs, for God's sakes. Those countries like bodybuilding. That's the countries that should be putting on the big events, because they can put up the big money for it.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to get the gate now too. Other than the Olympia and the Arnold, and
you get the gate in Qatar, or you get the gate in Dubai. I guarantee you'll get 10,000 people in an arena there.
Well, I don't know when
100% you would. They want to grow the sport if they want to, and maybe they don't want to grow it. Maybe they like keeping it a little smaller because it kind of floats under the radar. But
the growth is just insane. There's probably like 10 shows or 15 shows in the world.
Right, but I'm talking about to grow. When I say grow the sport, I mean make more money available for the athletes to win.
Yeah,
that's growing the sport. Just because you have more shows.
That comes down to two things. The number of people who pay to go watch the show, right, and then the number of people who pay for to watch it at home on a computer. Right. Those are the two primary drivers. You're never going to get the big advertisers anymore. No. Unless it's like the Olympia, the Arnold, maybe a couple other shows might get some advertisement, but it's
right, but don't you think if the Olympia was $1 million to the winner, that more people would compete to get to the Olympia? You know what I mean? Like, in other words, it's like a trickle down effect. If you have this first prize up here, and you're holding it in a place where they give you the royal treatment because bodybuilding is important there. It trickles down to the other shows, because now people want to get to that highest level to make that money, to be that superstar, whether it be in Dubai or Qatar. Who cares where it is? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter where the Olympia never was always in the United States. It used to travel when Joe was doing it. it was in a different country every single year. I remember, right?
Well, let's see. It was in.
It was Rimini. I remember.
Where?
Wasn't it in Rimini, in
They had
Italy?
Germany. They had it in Germany. They had it in
Where did
Britain.
Samir win it?
Wembley.
Yeah. So I mean, it was all over the place.
He had it. Samir won it. I think, did he win it in Wembley? He won it in, I believe, Wembley, which is where Michael Jackson had the Bad Tour, which was the highest grossing.
Right. I mean, it's. I just think that's we got to get the top shows to that level where the money is insane, and I think, and then everyone else is forced to up their game, and I think that maybe advertisers would get involved when they see people putting up big money like that, you know. And we don't need American advertisers. We need advertisers. There are advertisers in the Middle East. There are advertisers in Europe that if they saw, hey, holy mackerel, they're giving away all this money. Look at this. Look at how popular this show is. We got to get involved with this thing. You know, look at the FIBO. I mean, you've been to FIBO. I've been to FIBO. A lot of these people who listen to the show have never been there. FIBO has been going on for years in Germany, Cologne. Now it's in Cologne, Germany, but it's one of the biggest fitness expos in the world.
The irony is they got rid of, Dave, the whole irony about FIBO, there's two ironic issues. Is they got rid of one, the bodybuilding show. Yeah. And I told you on this show before, the German fans are the best bodybuilding fans. Because I know.
Why did they get rid of the bodybuilding show?
When they had a show a few years back, they had like an Olympia title show. I don't know, it was called like Olympia Europe or something. Was that right after the Olympia or a few weeks after? And the prejudging was sold out. I'd say 4,000 people, 3,500, 4,000 people.
Yeah. And
the audience went nuts the second the prejudging started to the very end. I'd never been to a bodybuilding show like that, including the Olympia, including the Arnold, in terms of fan participation. So,
I guest posed in Dubai in 1996 at a show that it was an amateur show there, and then I guest posed with Milos and a couple other people, and there was 5,000 people in the arena, and they were all men.
Yeah,
at that point, it was the women couldn't really were not going out or anything like that, but it was 5,000 people we guest posed in front of. I mean, it was insane. It was crazy. So it can be done, in a country where bodybuilding is important, and the country is run by a sheikh that's got a lot of money. And when we say a lot of money, we're talking about makes Bill Gates look like a pauper. They can do whatever they want. They can give away whatever they want. So I mean, it is what it is. So I think just I know we talk about this a lot, but the more we talk about it and put it out there, the more chances there are that it's going to raise itself up to a higher level. So,
well, they are. The Saudis offered. You saw how much the Saudis offered Tiger Woods?
No, how much?
He turned it down.
He did. He's
200 million
to go play golf in their Saudi league.
Yep.
Why do you think he turned it down?
Because he was loyal to the PGA. And then at the end of the day, the PGA said, the PGA was, isn't it funny? The PGA was, what a crazy world. The PGA was bad-mouthing the Saudi league.
Right.
And the Saudis were just like putting up more money and more money and more money. And some of the prestigious players in the PGA were, many did not for some reason. They did not leave. And then eventually the PGA caved in and became part of the Saudi League. And all the while, Trump had the Saudi League at his Bedminster or whatever the golf course is in New Jersey. He hosted like a couple of years ago, when all these guys were still loyal to the PGA, he hosted a golf tournament there.
Maybe the Saudis will come in and buy the IFBB NPC from Jim Mannion. I'm sure. Look, everything's for sale for the right price, right?
That's pretty much the way. That's how that's how we just sold the magazines, Dave.
Yeah,
put a crazy price tag
on it. They wanted to buy the WWE. Remember, WWE sold to that parent company that owns the UFC. But
Yes.
originally the deal was they were trying to get a lot more money, and the Saudis wanted to do it. I don't know why they haven't closed that deal, but I don't know the details of it. But they were going to sell them to the W. The Saudis are smart. They're in the entertainment business now. You know, they're like, look, we don't have enough. They know the oil is going to dry up eventually over there. Smart.
Yeah, at some point, I guess it will. I don't know. They always say that, but they've been saying it though for 20 years, 30 years.
Yes. Even if it dries up in 100 years, it's going to stop at some point, or we're going to find another alternative energy source that no one's going to use. So they got to have like a backup plan. You know, they can't just say, oh, one day we don't need your oil anymore, and now they have no money coming in. You know, that's just a fact of life. You know, I don't know. Overall, how do you think the Olympia lineup is looking now? I mean, you and I have talked, you know, off camera, obviously, and we.
Yeah, I think the Olympia is going to be the most exciting in the last 10 years.
I do too,
without a doubt.
Can Hadi Choopan win that Olympia?
Yeah, he can win the Olympia. This is like a lot of people can win that Olympia. Things have to line up though for some people to win it. Some things, you know, and I think what Hadi has going for him is that since the day, you know, he walked on that stage next to Flex Lewis in the 212 in Korea, you know, he's brought lights out condition, and he's progressively gotten bigger. And the funny part is when we talk about people getting bigger, a lot of times I said Coleman was, I don't care what it, you know, he's better smaller, you know, and Hadi's better bigger. In other words, you know, he's, you know, 212, and then I think the first Olympia maybe it was 220, and then, you know, whatever, his weight keeps moving up, and as it moves up, he maintains that level of condition that he's known for, and you know, he's dangerous. So can he win it? Yeah, he can win it.
Now, a lot of people, and this might be awkward for you because you helped them, but a lot of people are saying that they think Andrew Jack is going to be the next Mr. Olympia.
I think Andrew Jack's going to be hard to beat.
I just think that, you know, Andrew's height definitely has to, you know, play into.
I think Andrew Jack's back is better than this back you're looking at.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even have to hesitate to think about it.
Right.
Well, that's why I think it's going to be, you know, and there's more players in it than just Hadi and Andrew Jack, you know, but there's, you know, there's several people who have a lot of strengths that are unique to their own physique that are going to make it, you know, I wouldn't say difficult to judge, because I think, you know, the judges are really good judges, but it'll be difficult for the quote lay person to judge, if that makes sense, the fans to judge. And I know the fans get offended by that because they think that they know more than the head judges. They think it's all political and rigged, but, you know, because they're emotionally attached to their favorite people. But
it seems like Andrew has become a big fan favorite recently. I think after I think the best thing he could have done was beat Labrada. That really raised his stock.
I think he's going to be the fan favorite. I think, you know, or one of the, you know, people are going to be behind Derek for sure. They're going to be behind, you know, they'll be just behind, you know, curious and excited to see Sampson. Of course, they love Nick Walker.
Nick Walker's got a lot of fans.
And can also win the show, you know. And Hunter Labrada, believe me, just because he lost to Andrew Jack, you know, Hunter was fourth, not in shape.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. He's been as high as fourth, not in shape. He was seventh, not in shape. So where does he just remove Andrew Jack from the, you know, yeah, let's say Andrew Jack never showed up to Texas and we saw, you know, back-to-back wins by Hunter. You know, we'd be talking about Hunter. And like I said, he's been fourth, he's been seventh, and this version of Hunter would absolutely annihilate those fourth and seventh place versions of Hunter. So
yeah,
I think people are, I think there's an idea that, like, it's weird that they're discounting Hunter for the show.
I don't think anyone's discounting him. I think that what happened is Andrew beat him, and now he's like people in their mind have just said, well, if he can't beat Andrew, he's not going to win the Olympia, right? But I think that on any
that's what
given day,
I think that's a good point. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying on any given day, it could flip flop too. Andrew can come in too flat. Labrada could hit it perfect, and he could beat Andrew. So I mean, it wasn't a blowout, but it was certainly.
Andrew's flat is full. But next question.
You're right. But then you look at a guy like Nick Walker, and you see look at that shot. I mean, Nick's got to be the freakiest guy, I think, in the entire lineup. I mean, he's the Marcus Rule of this generation, wouldn't you say?
He's a little bit of Marcus Rule. He's a little bit of Mike Matarazzo.
I think he's better than Matarazzo.
No, I mean his temperament.
Oh yeah. His whole persona,
his excitement, on stage.
Yeah.
Because listen, he ain't going down without a fight.
No, and he loves it. He loves arguing with these guys and messing around. He's got a good sense of humor about the whole thing.
I talk negative about him right on the show right now, but I'm afraid his mom might text me and call me tomorrow. Bring me out to the woodshed.
No, but it's good that we have some good personalities in the sport now. I mean, he's great. And look, Andrew got up. Remember at the press conference last year at the Olympia?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone ever heard two words out of his mouth, and he was talking smack.
I don't think. I will guarantee you this: you will not see a preview picture on Instagram of Andrew Jack running into this Olympia. It's all going to be left to the imagination.
Right. Better off that way. Better off that way. Look, some guys use their social media, Chris, like Nick, to make money. And, in that instance, I understand why you have to put progress pictures up, and if you don't keep feeding these ravenous fans content, they don't come back to your page. And a lot of these guys make a good living from that. I mean, YouTube pays a lot of money, if you're getting a lot of hits on your videos. I know a lot of these guys, they film themselves in the gym. They let the camera run, and they basically put up the video unedited, and people watch those. I have clients of mine that say, I've been watching so-and-so's videos. I'm like, you watch that whole video? He's like, I watch everyone every day.
I tried to, on my Instagram, Dave, the most recent 2 posts, tried to monetize them, but it didn't work out.
No, but the point is that, there are people out there that are younger people that are trying to learn, from the guys that are the pros now, and they will go and they will, watch everything they do.
Oh, of course.
And so it's cool to not put any pictures up and be like Dorian Yates if you can afford to do that. But at the end of the day, a lot of these guys don't have contracts, and they got to pay bills, and they got to make their money on social media. So I understand why people put up those pictures, because I mean, Regan is one of the most popular guys, right, on social media.
Yeah, he's always had a big social media following.
Big following. I mean, so you gotta, I understand. You have to be able to market yourself in this day and age. Otherwise, you're gonna have to get a job in Home Depot. Pay the bills.
Well, they're paying 21. I just checked because my
Regan's got almost 2 million followers.
21 an hour to start. But Dave, at 21 an hour, hold on. I'll just figure it out. 10,000 divided by 21. You got to work 476 hours to fill my boat with gas.
You better get more followers, Chris. Yeah, if you're going to get that boat, that's for sure. Let me ask you a question. Is this? Hold on. Is this picture filtered?
Dave, yes, I'm the filter king.
I know you are. That's why I'm asking you. This was 72 hours out from the show.
Yes. I answered the question. That's why I put
the reason I'm asking you is I'm wondering
who took the picture. Go to my Instagram and I'll show you.
I'm sure Milos took the picture. The reason I'm asking you that is because I'm wondering if maybe he's over dehydrating himself too much. He looks full as a house here. I mean,
well, that's when you
can't really filter that.
You go like it goes. Between FG is like grainy, and then F on Instagram filter is full.
It's a great shot. I mean, right?
E is empty, meaning flat.
He looks like Mr. Olympia in that picture. So we break balls, but yeah, I mean, look, I understand what you're saying. you put up these pictures on Instagram, and then the judges look at the pictures, which they do, obviously, and then they go and judge you, and they're almost let down by what they see, right?
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, the judges judge what's up on stage. So
100%. 100%.
You know, I think they got the placings right. I'm in 100% in agreement with the way all the placings came out.
Yeah, you know, it's funny is when I did see a couple pictures of Nathan like 3 days out, and I thought he didn't look impressive because it was just a regular photo, if that makes sense.
Because Nathan's probably too lazy to filter him, or either that or he doesn't know how to filter him.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he may not, or be too. Yeah, why bother?
Nathan doesn't want to be bothered. He's got more important things to do. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he'll show you on show day.
Yeah, even his videos, you can just see. Hold on, let me see if I can. Hold on, let me see if I can pull this video up here. He'll just put up like a real video, like there's no filter, nothing on it. It's just he doesn't even look big in this picture.
Yeah, no, he don't. That's what all the pictures like 3 days out.
He's probably like 0 carbs here too. I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're like, Nathan, you better put up some content on your. All right, fine. Just take some video of me doing this last set of fucking cable flies or machine flies. It's funny though, because people have it was completely different personalities. Like some people are like complete neurotics about putting up social media content. I'm glad that there was no social media when I was competing, because it would have been a huge distraction for me, because I am one of those neurotics. I would have wanted to get everything up there every single day. And it takes its toll on you. It's exhausting, social media. How many places do you have to go to check all your freaking messages and this and that? Yeah. And it's you got texts, you got Instagram messages. If you go on Facebook, you got to check Facebook messages.
TikTok.
It's funny that isn't it funny that like bodybuilders really don't tweet anymore? Tweeting was a big thing, right, on Twitter.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's kind of like a social. It's more of a political platform now. Do you tweet?
I've never. No, I don't. I don't even have Facebook. I never go to my Facebook.
No, I'm talking about Twitter. Twitter. You tweet on Twitter.
Twitter. I don't know.
No.
But I do go to Yacht Trader, Dave.
Come on. Let me put the picture up.
Put it up.
All right, hold on. Tell us the story about how you found this thing. I'll pull the picture up in the meantime.
Well, let me tell you about addiction. And this is a true story. When I got into boats, and I had boats before, they are remarkably addictive. If you're into boats, they can be addictive. Like somebody can be. I mean, maybe that's my personality too. But I just know when I got into boats, it was like bodybuilding. I was on the boat 24 hours. I was on the boat all day long. I used to live on it. I used to live on a boat, Dave, the whole entire winter in Florida.
Your boat was beautiful. It was what was it, 45 foot?
43.
That's a big boat.
It's big. It's probably 4 times. I'll tell you what the square feet is. So it's equivalent of a 500 square foot apartment, but you have 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. And so my friend said he's been interested in boats, and he's trying to have me come take a look with him. And I've been, Dave, for at least a year and a half, I've been saying no, because I don't want to even see it. I don't.
If you see a boat, you're going to want to get it. Right.
So he finally convinced me to go look at one. And I'm telling you, I got on the boat and I was like, that feeling of like incredibleness. So my real estate idol, I texted him recently, and he said, I'm going to Italy and I'm going to Sicily. And I said, really? I said, where in Italy? What's it? The Amalfi? Is that how you say it? The Amalfi Coast?
Yeah. I think so.
And I told him, listen, I follow like 147 things on Instagram. That's not a lot. People follow like 2,000.
Right.
And the only travel places I follow is Dubai. I follow the Amalfi Coast in Sicily, and that's where he's going. Got it? So He says, I'm going on my boat. I said, what do you mean? He said, I bought a boat in Spain, and it's waiting for me in Italy, and I'm going to... And he sent me the picture. So I told him, Jim, I love those 2 places where you're going, and I love boating. So I went right to Google, Dave, and I swear, I put boats, and that was the first one I clicked on was that one right there. You see it.
A nice boat. It's a big boat. I told Chris, I said, Chris had a 43-foot boat. That's a 70-foot boat. I said,
Click
Chris,
on
you
the
cannot.
pictures. Click on the
I'm
pictures.
gonna put, yeah, I'll pull up the pictures. I said, Chris, you cannot pilot this boat yourself. I don't care.
I said, no, Dave, you'll help me.
It doesn't look that big. Wait, that gives it a better perspective of how big that boat is. But let me get inside the boat here. Hold on a second.
So you know, my whole thing is that, okay, you know, I do Airbnbs.
Yeah. So you figured you'd rent it out, right?
I would rent it. I know exactly.
Look at that thing. Holy mackerel.
Oh, you're just getting started. So you can make money on it. So when I had my boat in Portland, Maine, I had it in Miami, and I left it in Miami for the winters, and I'd go stay on it for the winter. But when I first had the boats, I would have them in Portland, Maine, in the harbor. We're talking like mid-90s. And you could go and get a boat slip, Dave, anywhere. Just call up any marina. Hi, I got a boat. I would like it for the season or for the year. And they're like, okay, yep, sure, we got it. I called today. There's a 2-year waiting list on every single marina.
What is that telling you? That there's more rich people now than there were back then?
It shows me that the transition of Portland, Maine to like a seaport town to like a wealthy, gentrified, incredibly appealing place to have a boat. That's what's happened to it. It's a really appealing place to have a boat. I knew that in the 90s, you know, because I used to take my boat out I used to go out on the boat, Dave.
Right, but it gets cold up there. You have a limited summer season there, you know?
Well, you know what? You can enjoy it really April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So like, you know, 8 months.
Right.
So there's literally no dock to put it at.
That's crazy.
And you know, the next place is like 15 miles away, but nobody's going to want to be on a boat up some river 15 miles away. You know, if they're they want to be, you know, smack downtown.
That's a big boat. You need a big marina for that thing too. You know, with a big slip, with the right accommodations in terms of for electricity and fuel and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, it's
you can't keep that in someone's backyard, Chris.
No, I mean, we got a rocky coast, so it's not like Florida where you can have, you know, in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, people rent their backyard slips to be, you know.
I did that in Seaford, you know, but I used to rent out the slip in my backyard.
Yeah,
but
no, I went to your house several times. The whole neighborhood's filled with, it's like a little like
boating community.
Boat in the backyard.
Yeah, I missed that. That was the one thing I really liked about it. Because even if you didn't have a boat, just the fact that you were in your backyard and you could have a boat, you know, you felt like you were part of this seafaring community.
Yeah, you know, your town was very unique.
Yeah, it was small too. It wasn't like all, you know, highfalutin people too.
Yeah. It was like it was a mix of like working waterfront type people, like people who use their boats to fish. And then
they used to have houseboats, Chris, there until that hurricane in 2012 wiped them all out. People were like old timers, like the older people were still living on these houseboats that were. It was like prime real estate. They wanted to get those people out of there for years.
Yeah.
The storm was the best thing that happened to the real estate developers there because they got rid of all the houseboats and then they put condos up there. But and I remember they were. It was big real. I sold at the wrong time, but you know what? I wanted to go down to Florida, and you know sometimes you can't pick the time to sell.
But you know what the thing is with I mean, it's always going to go up over time anyway. So you could always say, you know,
I'm sure the taxes there now are probably $20,000 a year.
How much?
They were up. When I got to my house there, it was $7,000 a year. When I left, it was $15,000 a year, and I guarantee they're probably $20,000 a year now. This is 7 years later. Absolutely,
insane.
It's insane. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us live today. Congratulations to Nathan Deasha. He's going back to the Olympia. Hopefully he'll make it this year. I am assuming we'll probably see Regan battling it out at the Legion Sports Fest to get that Olympia qualification. Now, is Good Vito, is he confirmed for that show?
No, he's not confirmed for any show yet. He took like a few days off once he get the visa cancellation, and his wife's having a baby in any day now. I think the 13th.
Oh my God! Yeah,
so maybe 3 days.
Is he still dieting?
No, he's not dieting, but he's
there's no way.
Tomorrow's the 10th or the 11th. Today, I think he said the 10th. He's going to start back up.
Oh, but he is intending to do the show. That's
he's got all intentions to. I know what's going to happen. He's going to have his baby any day now, and it's going to fire him up like crazy.
Oh, you think it'll fire him up? I thought.
Yeah. You have 3 kids, so you already forgot. But when you have a first kid, you go like, you start making lists. And I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna.
When you have your first kid, you don't sleep. You don't have the you don't know the schedule. It's scary. I can't see him unless his wife is a saint and she's gonna do everything herself. I can't imagine how he's gonna pull this one off. But
it's
maybe they got relatives in Brazil there who'll help him out. So
maybe we can find someone on the Brazil website to help out.
Chris, take your 70-foot boat down there, pick them up.
Yeah, go down there.
And drive them over to California there.
Me and Dave are coming down.
We'll go through the Panama Canal, right?
Yeah.
Trump said they raised the price on the Panama Canal.
They did because there's not enough water in it because of the droughts.
They made it bigger. He said. He said the dumbest thing we ever did was sell the Panama Canal to Panama for $1.
Yeah. Well,
we invested all the money and built it.
Did
you know?
Yeah. There's a waiting list, to get through. It's kind of like
I didn't know that.
Portland, and you can pay to go straight to the line, but you pay someone paid last week. I don't know if they were moving. I think they were moving Rolls Royces to California. God. They paid to move straight to the line. They paid like $3 million.
Panama must be like
it's like you, Dave. It's like you, Dave, when you're in line or something and you
cut the line.
And that shtick when you go up and you hoping somebody recognizes you. That's what Rolls Royce did, trying to cut the line to get to the Panama Canal.
Can you believe they got such a? What are the boats just waiting outside there to go through?
Yeah, they're waiting because it's not. Wow. There's not. It takes time to get through because the lack of water.
Well, they pump the water. You know what the problem is? I remember
the water in the lake.
I remember from school.
There's the West Coast, the East Coast, and then there's a lake in the middle, and that's.
Well, what they did was when they wanted to connect, the West and the East, and they said, all right, we're going to dig through Panama at the narrowest place, and we're going to build a canal there so that we can just take the boats right through. So when they dug the canal, they didn't realize that one side is higher than the other. So the water doesn't stay in the stuff they dug out. So they got to pump water in with they have these locking system where they pump water in, raises the level up, and then these big boats can go through. Now, if they would have gone like 20 miles down the road or something like that, it would have been, it was a longer stretch that they had to dig, but they could have gone straight through and they would never have to deal with locks, nothing. Now, my whole thing is, I wonder why they didn't make another canal. I always wondered, I wonder why they didn't just make a second canal. If the business is so big on that, why not dig another one? It can't be this hard to do it nowadays than when they did it, whenever it was, 80 years ago? I don't know when they built the canal. When the 20s, something like that? I
took when I took my boat down to Florida 25 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And you take it down like the intracoastal, and there's canal systems there where you have to wait.
Oh, really?
Connect into another thing, and your boat's up here, and then all of a sudden they open up the canal and you sink down like 30 feet so that you can go where you need to
go. You could really get very lost, going from Maine down to Florida. It's not, people think, well, it's a straight drive. You just go right down, right? Forget about it.
Dave, I'll tell you stories off the camera.
I can't even imagine. All right, we're going to wrap up the show. Once again, best congratulations to all the winners out there, and we'll see some of them at the Legion Sports Fest. Nathan's going to the Olympia. Congratulations. We're going to get him on the show hopefully this coming week. Find out all the details of hopefully there was no drama leading up to this show, and we'll see what he's got planned for the Olympia. For now, I'm Dave Palumbo with Chris Aceto. And as we say every week here at Heavy Muscle Radio,
The truth hurts.
Sure does. We'll see you again next week. Thanks for joining us.